Hi, Ray. Welcome to our Adword presentation. This is TC. Now I will give you a brief overview of our campaign. Our client is Adword Radio, which is an online community talk show. In this presentation, we will begin with an overview of our campaign, touching on the goals and monitoring method. We will then talk about the evolution of campaign strategy. Next, the key results from our campaign will be analyzed. At last, we will conclude with our learning objectives and recommendations. In this project, we have two goals of doing the campaign. The first goal is to gain awareness for Adword Radio in order to enlarge its audience network. The second goal is to achieve an average 4% CTR. Regarding to the monitoring method, each member was reasonable for monitoring the account. We were expected to review, refine, and reduce the keywords and ads of the campaign. Now I will pass it to Edith. He will talk about the strategy.
Alright, so the first stage of the campaign involved the creation of several ads. Issues such as grammar, content, tone, and relevance were discussed by the teams before a consensus was made and ads were registered to Google. The team placed a high priority on perfecting grammar within the ads, as poor word structure would broadcast an image of unprofessionalism. This being the case, the tone of the ads still remained largely casual and fun in order to appeal to a young, conveniently relaxed demographic. Phrases such as "bored as hell" or "we make fun of everybody" were specifically chosen in order to reflect the nature of Adword Radio, as well as to entice customers who would enjoy the show's style. Google's character limit provided to be a significant constraint in content decisions, as needed to portray vital information on Adword, while at the same time sticking within a limited space. In total, 3 initial advertisements were generated and registered. The team's approach to keyword generation was very aggressive. At the onset, a decision was made to register as many relevant keywords as we could think of. This was done in order to test the effectiveness of a wide array of words, disable those that did not perform and keep those that did, depending on their average CPC. Specific phrases such as live streaming radio and talk radio stations set to phrase match were added in order to attract targeted individuals to the site. Competitors such as Keith and the Girl, Reckless Media Radio, and Adam Carolla were also added as keywords in order to garner more market share and attract individuals already interested in podcasting. During the first few days of the campaign, it became clear that the focus keywords are not performing as expected. They were receiving very low impressions, in most cases 0, and this became a significant cause for concern. Our average CTR and CPCs was 0 due to an absence of clicks attributable to our low impression rate. If our $200 budget was to be optimized, it had to be spread over the 3-week period. Our daily expenditure for day 2 was only $2.17, and it became clearly apparent that if the campaign was to be successful, it needed to be significantly altered. Firstly, the team added a new host of keywords using Google's keyword tool. Next, more broad terms were added, despite warnings to the contrary from various guides. Such keywords included board, comedy, and podcast, which were selected in order to test for ourselves just how effective they could actually be. After the initial changes had been made, the campaign yielded more promising results, with an average of 101.2 clicks per day over the next 5 days. This was due to the broader keywords bringing in a large amount of impressions, around 360,000 per day on the content network. This is quite high and would present a significant problem if these keywords were exceedingly costly, as had been expected. However, the converse was true. The broad keywords had an average CPC of around 10 to 20 cents. The narrow terms were still not generating any impressions, and were thus not contributing at all to performance. For this reason, it was decided to keep the broad keywords. Another issue for the team to consider was the budget. During this early to intermediate phase, expenditure averaged at around $11.26 per day. If this level were to be sustained, the budget would run out within 4 days before schedule. In order to smooth out the budget, keywords with high CPCs of more than 12 cents were deactivated in order to curb expenditure and maximize our total amount of clicks over the long run. On day 20, the campaign became quite different. It became a priority to spend the remainder of our budget before the 3-week period had elapsed. Thus, keywords with slightly higher CPCs between 12 and 15 cents were reactivated, leading to a moderate spike in activity and exhaustion of the budget within the required time frame. Initially, bids were set to a substantially low level of 3 cents in the beginning of the campaign. This was in order to test a lower bound of expenditure for the campaign, see what we could get away with budget-wise. Unsurprisingly, this level was far too low and generated no clicks, so the campaign utilized the auto bid function, setting the daily budget to $10 per day. And in relation to ad rotation, ads whose click-through rate and clicks were low were deactivated or deleted, while new ads were formed similar in tone and style to the previously highest performing ad. Now I'll pass you over to Aaron.